Guys, welcome to the installment of Into the West. Run it back. We're going one by one through all the Star Wars films, and this week, arguably one of the best sequels in cinematic history. I don't know. It's probably one of my favorite Star Wars films. We're talking about, of course, Empire Strikes Back.
That's up there, dude. That's really up there.
I thought Hoth was a real place. I was like, man, I don't want to go there. It's
Han, oh buddy, Han.
Han, my boy Han.
That
was such a good one.
Sonny, what were some of your thoughts about Empire Strikes Back?
Until, again, I was a little on I think I was like maybe 15 or something when I saw this. I thought, as a sequel, the only other movie that I think is like on sequel level like that is like Godfather 2. You know what I mean?
Not The Dark Knight?
I'm saying before.
Oh, okay,
you know what I mean? Because
before that point.
Yeah,
Right.
Terminator 2, The Dark Knight, but it also has that same tone of all of those where it's like, do they need to make another one? Is it going to be as good? And you see it and you're like, oh, okay. Like you kind of see the darker side of things and you kind of see more connection. And I think world building always for me is one of my favorites, where you get to see like, okay, this is down the rabbit hole of like what else after the success of this first movie. I've always been an Empire guy. I mean, they make the Deadpool jokes in Deadpool, like, oh, Empire, and she's like, so I think if you your comment that we can't say on here, that we just talked about earlier. Yeah.
I was confused.
I love it. I love
Hot
it.
dog, Paul.
This is right up there with it is tied with The Last Jedi for my favorite Star Wars movie. Which I'm sure will, make somebody mad.
The Last Jedi.
But yeah.
Not The Return of the Jedi?
No.
Wow.
The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi.
I think Return is probably my third favorite. Anyways.
Okay.
I'll get the numbers at the end of the episode.
Yeah, right. But I love this movie. I think it's got the best reveal in any movie ever, that Darth Vader is his father.
That goes down in history
because he has
forever.
So much rage built up and anger.
Yeah.
And he goes and he gets taken out. And while he's at his lowest, the person he thought was his enemy realizes is everything to him.
Everything, bro.
I'm your daddy.
I'm your daddy, boy.
And just the way it's shot, the choreography, every swing of the lightsaber means something.
Yeah.
Everything is dangerous. Nobody is safe. Lando is one of the coolest characters ever.
He is, for sure.
And it's just such a well-paced and well-made movie. And it makes you think the places are real. Like Frank was saying, it gives you a type of immersion that most movies do not.
Yeah.
And I love this film. And I had to write a paper in college about Lee Brackett, who is the original pen for the screenplay. She had written a bunch of things in a science fiction magazine, and she was given she was given this script to write from scratch, and she wrote it. And she wrote everything. A lot of the stuff she ended up writing got removed from the movie, but some of the biggest things she wrote, like the entire Hoth sequence and the Cloud City, those two things are entirely her idea.
That's pretty cool.
She turned the script in, and it was taken by Kasdan and Lucas and changed into what it as today. But her original script treatment put in some of the most iconic things in cinema, and she is someone who doesn't get a whole lot of credit for that because her name wasn't on the movie. It was Kasdan and Lucas, but she has given those ideas life with Macquarie and stuff like that.
We were kind of going back on the last run it back over numbers versus back then and numbers versus now. I'm kind of curious.
So the production budget for Empire Strikes Back, if you guys had to guess, what do you think it was?
$35 million.
So what?
Less.
So what was the first one?
11 million.
11. So
At least double that.
I was going to say at least double. 22.
30 million.
Wow.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was the budget.
What did it end up cracking at the end?
800, I bet.
540
Oh,
million.
less.
Wow.
Wow.
Interesting.
I would not have.
I would have thought it would.
guessed
I
I thought it would have
more.
made more as well.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting. That is
When exactly? What year did this drop in the movie theater?
83.
1980 was Empire Strikes
Oh,
Back.
80?
Wow.
Return of the Jedi was 83.
Oh,
Okay.
The original Star Wars is 77.
Interesting.
Well, I said 79 last episode. Whoops, my
Okay.
bad.
That's extremely wild to see the comparisons versus. Oh, hey Shane. I saw that. It's crazy to see 1980s versus 2023. If you were to release a Star Wars movie and these numbers hit billions of dollars and they're number ones and they cost $250 million to make. I'll say this again, it's really a show and a testament to how good storytelling and how good the movie was. Them to $30 million into crack what 5 million you said, or 500 million,
Yeah, for something.
So that's it's crazy, man. It's insane what a sequel can do. I mean, good or bad. Sometimes it'll ruin whatever happens afterwards and they don't have to make any more movies, or you get something like this where it gets talked about 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years later afterwards.
Well, you get that ultimate scene that we're talking about, of course. It's like the scene. Yeah. With Luke and Darth Vader, but we also get introduced to a character that, I mean, everybody's just kind of like taken up, that is ridiculous because of like his backwards talking Yoda. Yeah. I mean, the 800-year-old Jedi Master who just says, I don't want to be around anybody. I'm going to live in the swamp.
I'm just going to kick it in the swamps, dude. Well, and now I relate more to that than ever.
I'm gonna bring something up that will correlate when we eventually talk about The Last Jedi. Not everyone, a lot of people complained. They were like, why would Luke go into hiding? Jedi don't do that. They don't hide. Literally the first Jedi Master you ever find went into hiding.
Literally.
So what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. People's get on their high horse about talking about which movie is better, or which trilogy, or what time, or what era. You just go back to the original. It's just poetry. It rhymes. You know what I mean? It's gonna keep coming back. Like it's the testament of how good things were when you see the original stuff being good. Sure.
Well, and again, we keep bringing up how like maybe you first watched it and you didn't really either get it or couldn't appreciate whatever was going on.
Yeah.
I loved these movies when I was a kid, but when I watched the scene where he goes into the cave and he fights Darth Vader and his own face is underneath it, when I watched that when I was a kid, I was like, I'm confused. Did he just kill himself? What is going on?
Right.
And then I rewatched it and I go, it was a sign that he himself is born of and is within and from Darth Vader. Yeah. They are similar, so similar, in fact, they're related.
Right.
And it was just such a wonderful way of conveying that.
Premonition.
And Yoda and him, like the way he handled it, Yoda being like, you're not ready to learn the things you need to learn, to go do the things you're trying to do. You're not ready, and this proves it. And your actions right there prove that he doesn't say it, but you're just like him.
Right.
You have every capability that he has.
Right.
Deep.
It really is a testament to be able to like see something for the first time and then like dissect it as I was 15 years ago or something like that, and then you go through trials and tribulations as an adult or a child, or you lose people, or you learn how to like deal with whatever life problems are hitting you, and then you watch something like that and you're like you said, oh, I get it now.
So
you know what I mean?
So it has that multi-generational appeal.
And I think so.
Much like certain films have it, certain musicians, recording artists have that.
Absolutely.
Everyone from 2 years old to 50 years old, 60, 70, 80 years old, everybody knows who Michael Jackson is.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone knows Star Wars at this point. It's in the zeitgeist.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah.
And
it checks that box.
Two things
I'm surprised you didn't say Prince.
Right, yeah. I know.
Not everybody knows Prince.
Prince is a little more niche.
Yeah, he was getting up there, and then but he was definitely very.
But speaking of the music, we haven't mentioned how iconic John Williams' theme is.
Yeah. Oh man,
like maybe the best theme music in the history of cinema.
Yeah, that's up there. That's up there. He's gonna say Tenet.
You don't like it?
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Wow. But it is at the very least one of the most iconic.
It is iconic.
Okay.
Yes, I give him that. But no, I don't like the.
So Marcus hates Star Wars. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not into the score.
That's crazy. Why don't you like the score?
It's just maybe because it's overused, and I'm just over it. I'm just over it.
It's a little different.
It doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't.
Interesting.
Yeah. Some of the intra cinematic, some of the scenes, some of the stuff that he does in the scenes, like the suspense building, all the kind of stuff, the choirs, those are great. But
this is way further in. But like whenever I think of Star Wars, I typically don't think of that. I think of
Duel of the Fates.
The Duel of the Fates.
Yes.
Oh, dude,
that for me,
that's him too.
I'm sure.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
for me, anytime I think of Star Wars, I don't think of that original theme song.
You hear
I'll- Yeah, and for me,
It's pretty great.
bro, for
Yeah,
me, like
exactly.
even now, you play that, I'm like, I'll
Yeah.
clean,
Well, the
I'll mow
two-
the lawn and be excited. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The two that come to mind.
I'm glad that we found the soundtrack for your
Right.
lawn mowing.
The two that come to mind to me is Luke's theme and
have
the
no
first
grass.
one when he's like, it's the like
I don't have any grass.
the kind of like, I don't know, the rising. I can't think of it on
It's
top
all
of my
stone. I don't have any
and
grass in my
the
house.
Imperial March.
Oh,
that
yeah.
that
Yeah.
Imperial March.
it
yes,
made
definitely.
the Emperor
I'll be doing that when I
and
walk into the
Vader
kitchen.
even
Get some peanut butter. and-
Ice cream. I got the munchies. I'm hungry right now.
Yeah, so that basically that initial overture of bam, ba, 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 ba. Yeah, I'm over it.
Okay.
But everything else is great.
Oh, all right,
I mean,
good.
everything else is timeless. I mean,
I like how it moved from setting to setting, and it felt very much like this is going to sound like a weird comparison. Kind of
it.
like a James Bond film where it jumps around all over, like globally. It had all these different settings
Okay,
in
yeah, I
one
can see
movie.
that. Yeah.
And it felt like wherever the core group of characters was going, it's just like things just got worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, Luke gets smacked by the Wampa. He loses his hand eventually. Han Solo gets frozen. They
Yeah.
think he might
Yeah.
be dead. They're not sure.
Well, they
Leia
famously
gets taken prisoner, and
weren't sure if he was coming back.
Yeah, at
Right.
that time they didn't because he wanted to be killed off.
Oh, really?
So they
Yeah.
froze
Is that
him
why
in
they
the
did it?
carbonite as
like
kind of
a
like
backup?
because they were in negotiations for what they're going to be doing.
And
with
if
the
they
next
needed to kill him,
movie.
they could
needed
say
to
he
kill him
died in the
off.
carbonite.
Yep.
Oh.
They say he's alive, but barely. Like when he's doing the
would've
life
liked that.
readings
That
thing.
would've been cool.
Whatever.
I would've
The Cloud
liked that.
City, man. Cloud City
Cloud
was
City
cool.
Bespin was cool. I like that a lot. I like that.
They got to do that. They got to put that up in the. They got to do that
like
here.
their
I mean,
new
Vegas
games,
has
too.
everything else, right? They got to do a Cloud City casino.
That
Might
sounds
as
like
well.
a-
We
that
got
sounds like
we
a
got a
Dubai
Death
thing.
Star coming. You know what I mean?
We do
That's
have a
true.
Death Star coming that looks
That's true.
like one of those old paper cups right now.
If they don't take advantage of one outside CG of it being the Death Star,
won't.
Oh, they're going to.
what do you mean
You think
they
so?
won't?
You think they'll pay for that?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it would be
Probably
able to.
would. They'll
it would be-
overprice the tickets. And
That would
and
be
make up for it.
No. That would be such an iconic thing, and that
I
would be
agree.
everywhere. That would be everywhere.
I
It'd be
agree.
good promotion. What?
No, I'm not-
200K?
Yeah, well, I mean, you never know.
knows?
Even if it M, dude, I'd pay. I mean, I wouldn't pay M if I was the guy behind the list. I'd sign off on that. Make it the Death Star. It'd be all over the internet. I would say so.
Everybody would come
Let's
see
get
it.
somebody on the phone. I
And
mean, let's make it happen.
The last thing about this movie in particular, and really the whole original trilogy, I think Han Solo lends so much to these movies.
Yeah.
They get super goofy, and it's little toad-looking dudes with like super pointy long ears, talking backwards, lightsabers, a dude in a big robot costume, and then what I think brings levity to it all is you have Han Solo the whole time going, "This is dumb.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
stupid." He's what they
He's-
call
he's us.
Yeah.
Right,
in
exactly.
the movie.
And
He's a
that's
normal
what
dude.
some of the sequel trilogy and the prequels are lacking. They're lacking that guy going, you in the audience, you're thinking, this is kind of ridiculous right now. Well, it is. I think this is ridiculous
But
too.
he makes it grounded, though. is
Exactly.
His analysis for everything is this, like how he's trying to like sweet talk Leia and stuff. Like, oh, your hands are dirty. My hands are dirty too.
Hey, we
What are
never
you
even
afraid
brought
of?
up yet
Never-
how-
oh my gosh.
How Leia kind of comes into all this kind of stuff, dude.
And it's kind of
I
funny.
love you. I know. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the pimpiest line
That's
ever.
like, yeah, that's some
The
cool, like
pimpiest.
cowboy, like badass. Like, I'm just gonna walk away and not turn around. You know what I mean?
yeah.
This is a true story. When I was with the variant's mom, we were newly dating. She said, "I love you," and I said, "I know."
Wow.
And
then Jonathan.
she didn't like that.
Oh,
And then when Jonathan was about 4 or 5 years old, the variant was a little guy. He was about 4 or 5 years old, and she said, "Sweetie, I love you." And he goes like this, puts his hands on the face, like I'm going to touch Shane's face. And he looks at her, he goes, "I know." And it ticked her off.
wow. That's incredible.
That's freaking great. That's
Yeah.
freaking great.
It's good memories.
Hand him the empties.
Is this
What is happening?
this seems like it's one of the first sequels I remember watching ever where, like you were saying, things get progressively bad. Usually
yeah.
sequels, the protagonist he rises in stature,
Yeah.
Right.
and there's more wins.
Yeah.
this one,
no,
everyone
get your
just
arm
got-
cut off.
Everyone got jacked
Yeah.
on this one, and you're
That's
like,
true.
and then it ends, and you're like, Wow. Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah,
All
you're
right.
thinking like
You know what we never get without an Empire Strike Back? Strike back. Strike back. Strike back. Strike back. We never get an Infinity War.
oh, that's true.
Without the Empire Strikes Back, we do not get the Infinity War as we know it, where they lose.
Yeah.
It does not happen. You know why that happened? Because the Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, you need the heroes to lose for whatever else comes after, for it to feel
To be invested in a third movie.
for you to go into a movie theater. I think actually was it today or yesterday was like, or I think it's today. It's the 5-year anniversary of either, I think it's Endgame or Infinity War, one of the other ones.
That's crazy.
Which is insane to even think about, talking about when these movies first came out. You don't get the crowd reaction being so crazy as, Captain America getting the hammer and succeeding and the portals opening. I don't think you get that without these original failures that, stars or heroes have to go through. Because in my mind, I knew, going back, all right, people are going to die. Somebody's going to lose.
Sure.
But going into the movie and how they cut it off and you see that there's nothing, dude. You come back and it's 5 years later and everyone's broken up. Yeah. You really feel that like the heroes lost. And
they did. Especially with Vision.
Oh my God, dude. It feels
that hurt.
There's way more weight to something when not everything goes the right way. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And I love that, especially when there's a movie of something's going to happen and that there's going to be a part 2. I don't need that cliffhanger to be like, everybody's succeeding and they're eating shawarma at the end. You know what I mean?
Right.
Someone died. They got something taken away from them. They lost. And to see even the smallest wins at the other side is what we need from that. So
Well,
I'm
it makes,
stoked
I mean,
about
we'll
that.
talk about it in a few weeks, it makes moments like at the end of Return of the Jedi work even better because we've seen what these characters have dealt with and what they have to have gone through. If you don't have a second movie where they lose, those end confrontations don't hit as hard because it's like, well, this wasn't really that hard for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was pretty
Fast
easy.
forward 20 years later or whatever,
Crazy.
Yeah.
But I think that you have that payoff though is when you get into Return of the Jedi. I mean, you watch Empire Strikes Back. Even I knew it back then when I was a little fart. That when the movie
72 years
was
ago.
out, 72 years ago, I knew that it was like I said. Well, I mean, they've got to like resolve this, and I'm like, I remember it was like I was like 5 or 6 years old. I was like traumatized. I was like watching out. My mom pulled me out of school to take me to that movie.
You're like, what is happening?
Nice.
I'm like watching the movie. And I'm looking at her like, what happened? What is going on? His
You're like, I gotta wait for
like,
years.
What are you
I
talking
wish
about? It's crazy.
I could have been in the theater when he says, Luke, I am your father.
See that I feel like
Or he
that
says
reveal.
no. What does he say? No?
That reveal is, I would say, which is the equivalent to the portals opening or Captain America getting the hammer,
kinda, yeah.
or where you get this. Everybody in the theater's reacting at the same time because you're all invested in this one character where he's like, dude, he's evil, man. Kill him off.
Bro.
You know what I mean? And you get this crazy reveal that's going to be forever in the zeitgeist of movie history.
And it makes it harder to kill Vader. You're like, oh, I want the villain to die. I want to get rid of him. Oh, he's Luke's dad?
He's his father?
No longer a two-dimensional villain.
No,
He's
it's like, so what,
three-dimensional.
how did he get there? What happened from XYZ to where he is now?
Why is he the way he is?
Why is he the way he is?
Is this going to happen to Luke?
Right.
Right.
Like Luke is this all like, what if he was Luke prior? And then you get all this like Anakin and all this kind of stuff. So,
And then you go into Jedi where he's trying to like recruit him.
yeah.
Like, we'll be together.
I
We'll
see
rule the
you have
galaxy.
completed your lights.
You know what?
I love that,
Your
dude.
lightsaber.
And you know what other stuff we don't get without that kind of relationship? We never get Invincible.
Yeah.
Invincible is Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker.
100%.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. When you think
That's
about
exactly that
I was
relationship.
gonna say, yeah.
on freaking roids, alien roids.
It's like the villain the whole time you thought was the villain is
Alien roids.
actually your hero's father. That's
Yeah. Because even I wasn't knowledgeable from the source material prior. So when I saw Invincible for the first time, and I'm like, oh, this Superman with a beard just murked the Justice League, bro. I was like, what is happening? I thought this guy was the good guy. What is happening? And it's his dad.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. So you don't. All these characters and all these stories are flying because Empire walked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this was the stepping stool. It's interesting.
I mean, so as far as like a movie, I know that you rank it in like your top sequels all
it's
time.
up there in the top sequels of all time for sure.
Okay.
top movies, period. For
What
me.
would you what is your score for it? Like out of 10?
When I first saw it, very low because, of course, I was younger. Now, in the zeitgeist of things and trilogies and sequels, I give that a 9. I give that a 9 for what it does and what it stands for now and what it did for everything moving forward. That's a goated movie. That's one that goes on the plaque. Nothing's gonna get the 10. I mean, but
Composer,
except for John Wick 4 gets a 10.
music lover. Music lover.
What about you? What you got?
So for me, it would probably have to be the 8.5 because 9 for me would be Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
Yeah, I would do it. Yeah,
What you got, Paul?
because he's a Jedi now. He's not a bratty kid anymore.
9.8 out of 10.
Wow.
It is one of my
9.8.
favorite movies of all time. And
Yeah.
it is for me, I think, like I said earlier, The Last Jedi is right up there with me as my favorite movies. I think this is easily the best Star Wars movie.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's really not close in my opinion. I think there's a lot of stuff in all the other movies that could drag them down. There's not in this one. This one, from start to finish,
It's a really good movie.
I am wrapped up. There's not a negative thing I really have.
I mean, it starts off like already just going at it. You're going full throttle from the opening scene.
Yep.
I mean,
I love that about sequels, especially where there's not like a, like we have to follow the hero
Previously
to
on
see.
Star
Yeah,
Wars.
previously.
Yeah.
Like this is where it gets there. It's like, like
previously
we're popping
on
off.
X-Men.
Yeah. Popping off right here. Frank, what you got? 1 out of 10?
It's probably the movie that I watched the most growing up.
Okay.
Of like any movie. You guys know my favorite movie of all time is Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
It's my favorite movie of all time. But I probably have seen that the most of any film. And this is probably like the movie that I've probably seen the second most. I actually broke my VHS tape. I
That's
watched
crazy.
Empire Strikes Back so many times. I give it a 10. It's my favorite. It's my favorite Star Wars movie. It's probably my favorite sequel to a film minus Dark Knight. Because Dark Knight for pacing, this for just so many bad things that keep happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our producer Quan, what do you give Empire Strikes Back out of 10? 9.5.
9.5.
What about you over there, good looking Shane? What do you give it out of 10? Empire Strikes Back. 10. Oh, wow.
10.
10. All right.
All right.
So y'all remember going to the theater and watching it then?
Like I said,
Yeah,
my
I
mom
remember
took me out of
going to the
school.
theater and watching it.
No, that's y'all is not part of them y'all.
My mom pulled me out of school and mentioned Dark Knight. I took Jonathan out of school to see Dark Knight,
Keeping with tradition.
keeping with the
As
tradition.
you should, dude.
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh my gosh, I got chewed out.
Of course.
No, because he was like 7.
Of course.
Or 8
He's
years old.
like
He was-
learning like
he's
actual
freaking out.
things.
He goes home and I said, of course, don't tell your
anything.
mom. So he gets home, he says, Grandma, I saw Dark Knight with Dad today. So she's like, what? Like, uh-oh.
Like, weren't you supposed to be in school?
Uh-oh.
I'm in trouble now.
Yeah. Guys, we'll be going one by one through all of the Star Wars films.
That was fun, dude.
I love talking about these. It's only
Star
gonna get more
Wars
fun.
is
It's gonna get
the
more
best.
fun.
I got to get you guys. We got to do something. I think for maybe Clone Wars 2 or Rebels. I don't know, maybe Rebels. We got to do something with that stuff as well.
You pick.
Yeah. I did start a Bad Batch because I don't know. Season 2 just snuck up on me. I didn't even realize it had dropped, and so I'm catching up on that.
You like the first season?
Oh yeah, Bad
Yeah,
Batch.
Bad
is
Batch
great.
was really good.
Bad Batch is
Yeah.
really good.
Catching up.
Coming
waiting
up,
for
then,
Visions.
we'll be talking about Return of the Jedi in the coming weeks. We appreciate you guys so much for taking the time to check us out. If you haven't done so already, Sonny, what do you want them to do?
Just add us to your pull box, man. Go ahead and subscribe.
Hey,
Go ahead and
buddy.
subscribe.
Hey.
If you don't have time to click and watch us be crazy for an hour, go back. Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Music, anything that you can find your friendly neighborhood podcasts on, I would greatly appreciate it. I sure would.
I
I'll
love that.
Buy you dinner.
Okay, well, guys, we're
Not
going to talk
everybody.
to you. Not everyone.
Just the cute ones.
Just the cuties.
Wow.
Just the Taco Bell cuties. Marcus.
Hey, so speaking of May 4th, May the 6th, Saturday, May the 6th is free comic book day. So make sure you guys head down to your local comic book shop. And it's something that happens nationwide every year. And stop into your local comic book shop, pick up some free comics. They, depending on what location you go to, or which stores, they usually have different things going on, either sales or signings, even. So yeah, check some stuff out.
I work late that day. I'll be going to the comic book store to pick up stuff.
Perfect time or perfect occasion for those who are interested in getting into comics as well, especially the young readers. So you can get some stuff, get them introduced to, Batman, Spider-Man, what have you, all ages, as well as up well into the, more mature levels of reading. So
they've got a lot of free books, even for the little guys and gals that are starting to read books. There's a lot of free stuff for you to go check out. It's a great thing that they do at the shops every year.
Yeah. That's cool.
And it's a great way to get some new readers connected. So
absolutely,
guys, we appreciate you so much. Have a great evening. Hot Dog, do you have something?
Follow us on TikTok at Into the West Comics, Instagram at Into the West Comics, Twitter _comics, and Feed Finder Into the West Comics.
Later.
Bye, guys.
I didn't know our Feed Finder was into. All right.
Into the feet.
Into the Feed Comics.
We need an OnlyFans.